Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hey, so I got a new project today. I'm gonna let y'all come along with me as I do it. I bought me a little Bobcat skid steer, and it's a 90 model skid steer. It's got a little Kubota diesel motor in it. So let's come over here and take a look at it real quick. I bought it from the guy. He said it had a hydraulic leak in it. It turned out to be a simple couple of hose clamps that were loose on this thing. So let me show you on this here real quick. Right here, as you can see, this hose right here, I believe it's a hydraulic return hose. When I opened the underneath the seat here, I noticed it had a little bit of oil around this, and both of these hose clamps were loose. So I just tightened both of them up, went and got a battery for it and some hydraulic fluid, filled it up and started right up, and it didn't have a bit of leak anywhere on this thing. So I took it off the trailer and drove it up and down the block, and it worked really good. But I noticed there was a lot of oil on the wheels at one point. It had a lot of residue of oil. So the wheel seals were leaking, and I went ahead and pulled both front axles out, and I think I've got some clips of when I did that. I'll throw them in here in a second. Okay, to get this inner race off in here, I'm going to stick a pipe through the outside and come through here and hit it. Now to put it back together, I'm going to make some kind of a slide hammer with a washer that I can put on to pull that back through. But let's knock that one out real quick. Okay, so this outer race that's in there, I need something that I can get behind it and make some kind of a slide hammer to pull it out. So let's see what I've got here. Okay, this is some metal that I was using for my pipe fence out at my land. Here's some caps that I ended up putting on it. But initially, I was going to just put flat ones on it. So let's look at these. You know, that might work. Let's see. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think about 3 feet on this slide hammer. Alright, so this won't go inside of there to be able to pull it out, but all I have to do is take a little bit off either side, and then I can get it in there and then bam it out. And then we will like that. apart. Taking apart's not the hard part. It's going to be difficult to get that sprocket back on that axle and get it in position and put that nut on it. So let me climb in here and see if I can do this. Alright, I'm trying to get this shot, but I ain't going to be able to get in there with the camera in the way, I think. Right, so I got this out, and that makes a third time that I've tried to record pulling this axle out using the jacks that I didn't turn the camera on, so maybe the fourth one's the charm. But you can see this bearing just came, it's all in pieces. It didn't come out like the other ones, it was in bad shape. All right, race removal method number 2. Right here I have the steering mechanism. This is the first thing I took off so I could have access to the chain case. And I did notice that these bushings for the linkage were wore out, so I ordered some of those. I got these from allskidsteer.com, and it's the bushings that go in there and a couple of steering linkage bushings here that always wear out, so I just bought this little kit. It wasn't very much, maybe 20 bucks. Anyway, there's a part number if you want to Google it. Also on this, and I'll give you a close-up shot of this, on this part of the right handle, on this particular model is skid steer, the auxiliary hydraulics that go out the front of this work off of this piece right here. There's a cable that comes here that comes off of the same spool valve that both of these linkage go to, and it was disconnected. And what you would do is, this bolt here should be here, and when you put this bolt here, this thing will pivot so you can work that lever in and out to cause fluid to go one direction or the other out the front. You can run a brush hog off the front or whatever. So I'll hook all that back up. It wasn't hooked up. We'll see if that spool valve even works. Here's the two covers that go on the top of the chain case on this. One of the first things that I noticed about this thing when I went to apply this parking brake is that it wasn't working. It wasn't holding it. So after pulling the chain case covers off, I wanted to look and see how this works. Is this has this lever that goes to this pedal, and it pulls this parking brake mechanism right here. Well, it wasn't doing anything at all. So what I did, looked at it when I turned this thing over. I was thinking that it had brake pads of some kind, and it does. So what it has is it has these 3 brass bushings. This one here is mounted solid, this one here in the middle floats, and this one right here is connected to an eccentric on this lever. So when you pull this lever forward, it pinches the rotor right here. And when it has 2 rotors, and what happens, you got 1 rotor here and 1 rotor in here, and when you pinch down, it pinches on both of those 2 rotors on the inside and locks the brakes. Now I thought these were maybe wore down because this thing was just as loose as could be. There was no adjustment on this rod. It was all the way down in there. And it comes to find out, when I went to take this thing apart, that this lever here can be adjusted so that you can change its position to make those brakes apply more. The other thing that I'm having to deal with is leaky wheel seals. The way these bearings, they're pressed onto this axle, so you'll have a seal, and then you have the bearing gets pressed on here, and it's got a race that fits up inside that housing. Now the easiest way to get these off, if you can see right here, is by cutting this. Now I'll throw a video in here of me cutting that off real quick. The next thing you want to cut into this inner race, look how bad that's pitted up, but cut it in there, kind of cut it at an angle, avoid hitting the area here where the seal rides, and avoid getting into the axle. And once you've got that, I should be able to take this chisel and get in there and hit it, and it's under pressure now. It's going to want to crack and expand. So let's try that real quick. There it goes. Now we'll just slide it off. That's it. think I know how to get those inner races inside there. I'm going to make another tool using that slide hammer. So follow along. I'll see if this works. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to weld this exactly centered on that, or roughly. And then I can use this to get centered within the new race to pull the new race inward. used it to press on this new bearing. I finally got it in. Man, that was exhausting. And this is how I had to do it. I got this slide hammer piece I've made, and I've got it pushing in on the gear on the inside. Then I've got that piece I made in the gear, and that's what that bar is pushing against. I've got it bungeed with this crescent to twist it and keep it straight. I've got this yellow bungee here to pivot off of that piece of wood to push it that way, and then to keep the whole gear and chain and everything pushing that direction, I put this blue one pushing it that way. And after getting it lined up, I've got this side over here with bungee cords pushing it that way. It's a miracle I got it set in there. This is going to be the easy one in the back. The other one's going to be tough, because I can't go through like this on this side. I'm pretty sure it's all the way in there, so I'm going to take all this stuff off, and I hope it doesn't explode. So here we go. I got this rear on this side put in place, and I decided that I wasn't going to try to do what I did on the other side. I was going to take it and cut the chain. So what I did, I was able to slip out of there, and I cut one of the links off and bought some master links for it. And that side went in really easy without having to mess with the chain like I did on the left side here. Let me show you that chain in the master link. Here's that chain. It seemed like it was in pretty good shape. Here's the new master link I put on it. I bought 4 of them just in case I need to do it to the front ones, which I don't think so, because I have a little more access to put the gear in place with the chain on it. So this particular chain on this 90 model 473 is a number 80H, which is heavy duty. It's a different size than the regular an 80 chain, a little heavier duty. And I think I bought these master links on Amazon, and they were about $5 a piece, so not bad. Here's the old link. All I did on this old link here is I took it and I ground down these 2 nubs till they were flush. I put it in a vise to hold it in place, and I drove those out. It wasn't very difficult to do. it.